I guess there's no helping it now that the affair has come to light. For your sake, I'll divorce you. But you're going to have to take care of that bedridden old hag. One day, I was heading to a day spa with my disabled mother-in-law. However, I had to return home because I forgot something and caught my husband cheating. Realizing that I had seen him, my husband brazenly said something unbelievable. I was trembling with anger at the affair and his disregard for his mother. But I returned to the car where my mother-in-law was waiting and explained the situation. I was so shocked by my husband's betrayal that I didn't know what to do. My mother-in-law kindly showed concern for me. Don't worry about the future. I have a plan. I was astonished by what I was told then. My husband had no idea back then. He didn't know that a future of being crushed by the truth awaited him. My name is Amy Owen, 35 years old. My maiden name was Johnson. Howard Owen and I married after a romance that began at work. Let me start with my life before I got married. I worked for a trading company before we married. Let's work hard today too. I might say so myself, but I think I was good at my job. And I found it fulfilling, so romance was a secondary concern. You're always so enthusiastic about your work. If you keep this up, you'll delay your marriage. I'm not interested in that right now, so it's fine. Work is my lover, maybe? Humph, you're so smug, it annoys me. I won't lose to you in work or love. That's nice. Anyway, let's do our best at work. The person who said this was Susan Fisher. Susan and I were colleagues. And she always seemed to see me as a rival. Always coming at me this way, but I just ignored her. Then one day, a new male employee joined the company. Hello, I'm Howard Owen. I'm looking forward to working with you all. This new employee would later become my husband, Howard. At first, I didn't consider him as a romantic prospect. Amy, you look beautiful today too. Oh, thank you. How about we go out for dinner after work? Sure, why not? How about going to a movie next time? That sounds nice. Let's go. Howard kept making advances, and gradually I found myself attracted to him. Then, Amy, I like you. Would you go out with me? If you're okay with someone like me, I'd be glad to. Thus, we started dating. We enjoyed many dates and spent a lot of time together. Then one day, at a fancy restaurant with a beautiful night view. After enjoying our meal, Howard looked at me earnestly and said, I will always protect you, Amy. Please marry me. Really? I'm so happy. Thank you, Howard. Overwhelmed by the perfect situation and Howard's earnestness, I agreed, and we decided to get married. There were things that needed to be done now that our marriage was decided. Like meeting each other's parents. Howard had talked with his parents and arranged a schedule. And I nervously went to meet his parents. Hello, I'm Amy. I'm going to marry Howard. Nice to meet you. You don't have to be so nervous. I'm happy that you're going to be Howard's wife. Thank you. Howard's mother greeted me with a kind smile. I had heard from Howard before the meeting that his father had passed away long before I met him, and Howard's mother had raised him by herself. Since my parents had also passed away early, I was really relieved by his mother's kind smile, and I was truly happy that this person would be my mother-in-law. I thought, maybe it's reassuring that this person is going to be my mother-in-law. I thought that I could get along well with my mother-in-law, and I was hoping that my married life with Howard would go smoothly. Then one day, a phone call came to Howard's mobile phone. When he answered it, Howard looked very surprised. Seeing his expression, I knew something serious was up, so I asked Howard about it. I just got a call from the hospital saying that my mom had an accident and was injured. It seems she was taken by ambulance. What? How is she injured? I don't know. Let's go to the hospital where my mom was taken. Yeah, right. Confused by the sudden news, we decided to go to the hospital where his mother had been taken. When we arrived at the hospital, we saw the painful sight of his mother. When she noticed us, she said, "Oh, Howard, Amy. I'm sorry for causing trouble. Don't worry about it. Just focus on getting better, please." Exactly, don't worry about us. As we reassured her, she started to cry and said, I won't be able to walk anymore. What? That's terrible. It was when I was shocked by my mother-in-law's story. Are you family members of Ms. Owen? The doctor who had been treating my mother-in-law approached us. Perhaps my mother-in-law was just feeling down from the shock of her injury. I hoped the doctor could clarify the truth for us, but the response we received was, the condition of Ms. Owen's injury is that she has compound fractures in both femurs. We'll operate, but it's unlikely she'll be able to move as before. Does that mean she will be bedridden? I'm afraid that is a strong possibility. That's terrible. The news from the doctor was harsh. I couldn't believe that what my mother-in-law had said was actually true. Eventually, she would have to stay in the hospital for treatment. And during that time, my husband and I decided to discuss our future. I never imagined this would happen. Really. I wonder what will happen to my mom's life now. I was genuinely concerned about my mother-in-law's future. Would being bedridden mean she would need constant care? As I pondered this, a memory suddenly came to mind. It was the kind smile my mother-in-law had given me when we first met to discuss the marriage. I wanted to protect that gentle smile. That's when I made a decision. We should live with your mom. What? I'll quit my job and become a full-time housewife. I'll take good care of your mom. Amy, are you sure? Thank you, that will be a big help. Thus, it was settled that after my mother-in-law was discharged, she would live with us, and I would take care of her as a housewife. At first, I was inexperienced and sometimes puzzled by the care she needed. Howard, the meal is ready. Could you bring it to your mom? Oh, okay. Howard sometimes helped with her care, which was a relief. Thanks for helping around the house despite your busy work. It's no problem. I should be thanking you for taking care of my mom. I was truly grateful for Howard's cooperation. Life was challenging, but I felt we could overcome anything together. However, this belief would be shattered years later. I'm home. Hi, you're late again today. The busy season has started at work. It's been hectic lately. I see. Don't overdo it, okay? Yeah, I understand. Howard had been coming home late every day recently. Since I had quit my job, I wasn't aware of the changes at his company. I just assumed he was genuinely busy and tried not to think too deeply about it. I thought, but we haven't talked much lately. While I told myself that his late returns were unavoidable, it also meant that our conversations had decreased. We didn't have children, which might have been affecting us as well. Even so, I felt a bit lonely. One day, Howard suggested something. Why don't you and Mom go to a day spa and relax? Wait, aren't you coming? And, is there even a spa that Mom can use comfortably? I have work, and this is the time to buckle down. It's a reward for you, Amy, for supporting Mom and our home. And staying bedridden at home is tough on her, right? I appreciate the thought, but don't worry about it. How about this place? It's fully accessible and very safe. So I think Mom will be comfortable there. Howard showed me a brochure for the spa. Upon checking, it indeed seemed like a place where my mother-in-law could enjoy without any hassle. You've really gone to the trouble of researching this. Thank you. It would be nice if you could come with us, so let's schedule it when you're available. Maybe next time. For now, just the two of you go. Okay, I'll take you up on your kind offer then. Thank you, Howard. So, I decided to go to the day spa with my mother-in-law as Howard suggested. As we discussed it in her room. Is it really okay for someone like me to go to a spa? Amy won't be able to relax with me around, and I might bother other guests. I initially didn't know how accessible and safe it was. So her concerns were understandable. But that worry was unnecessary. I showed my mother-in-law the brochure Howard had given me. Look at this. Howard prepared this brochure. And the place is well equipped for accessibility. They even have baths that you can enter in a wheelchair. Really? But you'll still have to help me with some things, won't it be hard? Please don't worry about that. I want to help you. And if needed, the staff at the spa will assist us. Are you sure? Of course. Let's go together. Amy says so too, Mom. Go and have a good time with peace of mind. Amy, Howard, thank you. All right, I'll take you up on your offer and go with Amy. With a smile, my mother-in-law agreed to go to the day spa with me. It had been a long time since I'd seen her smile like that. Was she ever able to smile since she became bedridden? I prepared for the day of the spa with anticipation. When the day arrived. Then, we're off. Thank you, Howard. Oh, enjoy yourselves. Okay. Howard saw us off. As we drove towards our destination, I suddenly realized something. Oh no, I've forgotten something. Mom, I'm sorry. Can we go back home once? Of course, it's fine. I told my mother-in-law, and we returned home to pick up the forgotten item. And I heard a noise upstairs. I wondered, what was that sound? Worried, I went upstairs and opened the door to the room from where the noise had come. What? Howard, what are you doing? And who is that person? Whoa, bad timing. Amy, why are you here? Weren't you at the spa? Wait. Howard, what are you going to do? As soon as I appeared, Howard and Susan were visibly shocked and flustered. From their appearance, I understood the cause of the noise I had heard earlier. Howard was having an affair with his coworker, Susan. What is this all about? Was the reason you've been coming home late? And suddenly sending me to the spa, all because of your affair with Susan? When I confronted him, Howard responded unbelievably. It's out now, so can't help it. Yes, I've been having an affair with Susan. Sorry, Miss Johnson. Well, you're Ms. Owen now, aren't you? What? What kind of attitude is that? As I trembled with rage, Howard's next words were also unbelievable. I guess there's no helping it now that the affair has come to light. For your sake, I'll divorce you. But you're going to have to take care of that bedridden old hag. What are you talking about? Isn't she your mom? What do I care? You were the one who said we'd live together so you could take care of the old hag. That's true, but you're being irresponsible. To think that he would disregard his own mother like this, on top of having an affair. What kind of person does he think he is? I was furious. Nevertheless, I managed to return to the car where my mother-in-law was waiting and explained the situation. That's unforgivable. Amy, please take me to where Howard is. Oh, yes. After being asked, I took my mother-in-law to Howard. Howard, I did not raise you to be this way. What are you talking about? This is the reality of it. What? In that case, I disown you. Even in front of his mother, Howard remained defiant. Unable to tolerate his attitude. My mother-in-law made a clear declaration. Amy, I'm sorry. I never imagined things would come to this. You don't need to worry about me, just do what makes you happy. Despite being shocked by Howard's behavior, my mother-in-law still cared for me. Having always felt she was like a real mother to me, my conclusion was clear. Mom, please let me continue to help you. When I expressed this, my mother-in-law responded with a calm smile. Amy, thank you. Don't worry about the future. I have a plan. Really? Actually. I was surprised by her sudden declaration, but even more surprising words followed. Suggesting a way to get back at Howard. I don't know what you're talking about, but just keep struggling. Really, do your best. Unaware of what we were discussing, Howard and Susan left the house laughing together. They wouldn't be so relaxed if they knew what was coming. From then on, my mother-in-law and I started living together. After 7 years, she passed away due to complications from being bedridden. With no relatives, I handled her funeral. But Howard and his affair partner showed up laughing. So the old hag finally kicked the bucket, huh? Hey, she had a hefty inheritance, right? Must be about $3 million. I'll inherit it, so hand it over. After all the effort you put into taking care of her. It's pathetic that we end up taking the money. To think they had the nerve to show up. At that moment, I revealed what my mother-in-law had told me. Sorry, but you have no inheritance rights. What? What are you talking about? It's pathetic to make lame excuses. If you think so, you should check this. What I showed them was my mother-in-law's family register. No way, my name isn't there? Actually, Howard was the stepson of Howard's father. Howard's father and mother were not legally married, living in a kind of common-law marriage. Coincidentally, both parents had the same last name Owen. So Howard assumed they were legally married and he was their legal son. However, that assumption was wrong. Howard and his mother were legally strangers. No way. This is bad, terrible. Howard, previously calm, now tore at his hair in panic. It seemed my mother-in-law's plan had worked as she had intended 7 years ago. However, she hadn't initially wanted to disinherit Howard if only he hadn't betrayed her. If he had lived honorably, he might have been entitled to inherit. Truly, he had only himself to blame. As I thought this, I turned to Susan, who had turned pale and spoke. What are we going to do now? How are we going to repay the money if we don't get the inheritance? Hey, don't say unnecessary things. Caught off guard, Susan blurted out something revealing. And Howard hurriedly tried to silence her. I thought, such an easy read. Their reaction made it clear they had been living extravagantly on borrowed money, hoping for an inheritance. There was one more thing I had to tell them. Also, I've consulted a lawyer, so I might be suing you for alimony. No, please, not alimony. Amy, I'm sorry. I apologize. Please, I'm reflecting on it. What are they saying after such betrayal? Asking not to pay alimony now is too much. That's impossible. I won't forgive you after such betrayal. And for hurting such a kind mother-in-law. I'm really sorry. Ah. Please, forgive us. As I spoke, the two of them fled the scene. Later, Howard failed to pay the alimony. Despite sending demand letters through lawyers and the courts, there was no effect. I wondered, what are they thinking? I decided to consult a lawyer again. The court has issued a seizure order, but it seems both of them have disappeared. The lawyer informed me. How can they just vanish like this? What are they really thinking? Their actions were utterly bewildering. Were they hiding to dodge paying alimony and their debts, or did they have another plan? Either way, escaping wouldn't be as easy as the two might think. I wondered about their workplace situation. Were they still showing up for work? Curious, I reached out to a former coworker and arranged to meet at a cafe near their company. It's been a while. Sorry for contacting you out of the blue. No problem at all. But what's the sudden concern? I've been wondering about Howard and Susan. Are they still showing up at work? As I asked, my coworker grimaced before responding. Those two have been fired for misconduct. What? The company obviously knew about your marriage to Howard. But then it came out that the two of them were having an affair. On top of that, they've been absent without notice lately, so it was inevitable. I see. I had suspected as much since they were now missing. Now, their whereabouts were unknown. It seemed unlikely that any good fortune would come their way in the future. Their end would likely be grim. What about you, Amy? What will you do now? Well, now that I'm free, maybe it's a good time to start working again. Why don't you come back to our company? You'd be a great asset, and everyone would welcome you. That's nice to hear. Maybe I will take you up on that offer. Returning to work at the company where Howard and Susan had been might feel awkward. But such worries seemed unnecessary. Feeling genuinely pleased by my coworker's invitation, I later contacted the company and returned to my job. Now, I'm working hard just like before. Though my marriage was unfortunate, I'm grateful to Howard for introducing me to such a kind and gentle mother-in-law. From now on, my career will be my partner. I'm looking forward to living a fulfilling life with this new purpose.